Happy thanks. No, wait. Not Thanksgiving. Happy New Year, my friend! In this video, I'm going to carry on my tradition of choosing a one word or phrase focus for my year. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that if you haven't been with me before, and I'm going to review what I chose for my 2020 focus and how that went. And I will reveal what I chose and why for 2021. So I'm going to go pour myself some hot chocolate, get cozy, and then let's get real about our focus for 2021. So what is a one word or phrase focus? I talk about it a lot more in my blog post that I have linked down below for you, so make sure to check that out. But briefly, it's basically having a theme for your year, specifically in the realm of personal development or something that you're wanting to just give more attention to in that year. Instead of like trying to go a million different directions, it's just narrowing your focus so you can really have intentionality and set a lot of your goals to line up with that main priority for your year. My one word focus for 2020 was story, because I wanted to live a story worth reading. Now let's hand it over to last year Anna to explain this further. So what does story mean to me? I'm mainly using it as a mindset and a daily reminder to live out a story worth reading. You know, if someone was to pick up a book and it was the story of my life, would it be worth reading? In more specific terms, to me it means continuing to face fears and go beyond my comfort zone. I want to be able to say yes to more opportunities, even if they're scary. I will also carry over the lessons I learned about grace and self-care from last year. Like I mentioned before, I want to make sure I'm giving myself more margin as well, so that I'm ready and freed up for whenever opportunities arise, and so I'm not so stressed out all the time. Also, on a personal level, I'd like to continue being vulnerable with you all, because I think there's incredible power in being able to say, me too, and sharing your story and realizing that you're not alone in your struggles, realizing that someone else understands, because we're all in this together and you are not alone, my friend. And I want to use my struggles, my past experiences to help other people. Well, I can for sure say that 2020 was quite the story. Before the year started, I had decided that I was going to intentionally work on my adaptability and trying to be less rigid and stubborn with my plans and my schedule, because I'm very structured and I plan out far in advance, but then it's hard for me to change things and be flexible, so I was working on that. And that could not have come at the more perfect time, because I was set up well to handle things better when a pandemic happened and everybody was having to adapt. That would not have gone well for me had I not already been, had not already set myself up to have a looser plan. However, with the changes that 2020 brought, I did have to take a couple goals off of my list. First of all, I had intended to write more lessons from film posts, and I was super excited about it. There were going to be so many good movies coming out this year, but of course, because of the pandemic, almost all of them were postponed. Second, I planned on writing fables throughout 2020, and I did publish one before the pandemic, and I had a second one written in a poem form, and I was working on an animation for it. It was my first time doing animation in Photoshop, and I already sunk so many hours into it, but then the pandemic happened, and I just decided to put that project on hold to write some more timely posts, including how to help others when you only have $10 or less, 8 therapists, coaches, and mental health advocates share wisdom and encouragement, how introverts can help others during quarantine, and how to set goals during uncertain times. I'm honestly very proud of myself for how I adapted to meet the current needs at the time. Like I said before, I tend to stubbornly hold on to the plans that I've set and struggle to adapt, so this was some major growth for me this year. Despite all the craziness of this year and battling my own depression and anxiety and pandemic stress and grief from the loss of my grandparents, I still was able to face a lot of fears this year, and I also had some major accomplishments that I want to make sure that I take the time to recognize and celebrate. I would also love to hear your accomplishments and wins and good things that happened to you this year, so make sure to comment some of those down below. In January, I had my very first speaking gig. I launched my first clothing product in my store with concepts and artists on Fiverr brought to life for me. I pitched collaborations to 3 different brands and was accepted by all of them. I also pitched my art for a huge commission and was chosen. I created stop motion for my Hero's Journal review. I used my pain to write a letter of encouragement for those who've also been abandoned by a friend. I started an apprenticeship with Rivera to become a personality profiler. I finished editing my mother's novel. I took more days for me, which was a goal I had set for that year. I completed a video game, which was another goal I set for myself as part of trying to make more time to relax. I learned ukulele. I did my first live videos, including a ukulele performance. I did a Twitter live video with Andy. I exceeded my goal for finished colored digital art pieces. I did my first Q&A video. I celebrated my 5-year Blogiversary. I launched my coaching business. I wrote a 28-page ebook. I appeared as a guest for the first time on YouTube for Joyce's channel talking about INFJs and Enneagram types. I started a new vlog series and had my first guest and drove stick shift for the first time. I got my own apprentice, and I started doing Bollywood dance workouts. I'm proud of myself. There were so many times that my harsh inner critic whispered, or rather screamed in my ear, that I should be doing more. But, first of all, we were in a freaking pandemic, so you can calm down, inner mean voice. And second, I need to learn to accept my own limits and give myself grace when those limits are not where I'd like them to be. I learned so much in 2020, and I made some big strides in my personal growth, even if I didn't make as big of strides in building my brand because of the weirdness and unpredictability of 2020. And now it is time to reveal what I have chosen for my theme and focus for 2021. Make mistakes. So what does this mean to me, and why did I choose it? I've made a lot of progress in overcoming my perfectionism, but it's still a major struggle for me. My inner critic is very loud, and it's still sometimes difficult to quiet it. So this year, I want to make it my very top priority so I can punch this thing in the face or give it a hug. For those into the Enneagram, I am the Enneagram 1. And it is often nicknamed the reformer or the perfectionist. My subtype is self-preservation, which basically what you need to know about that for me as a self-preservation 1 is that I am way harder on myself than I am on anyone else. I hold myself to ridiculous standards that I would never put on anyone else. Beatrice Chestnut talks about how all the Enneagram types can grow by focusing on these different areas for improvement. But the Enneagram 1 is this weird exception in that they're the only type that actually needs to get worse to get better. Because their problem is that they're way too focused on self-improvement to a fault. I used to fear that going to the other side of this would make me lazy. You know, like if I spent too much time for myself, if I took too many breaks, or, you know, didn't spend enough time perfecting things and making the most of every single second of my day, then I would become lazy. And this was a genuine fear of mine, but it's kind of laughable now because I realized that I am way too ambitious and creative and honestly neurotically on the far other extreme that I don't think I would ever become lazy. So I think that purposefully leaning into this opposite extreme might help me find that healthy balance, that good middle place where I am not pursuing perfection, but I am pursuing excellence and able to give myself grace when I make mistakes and able to just, you know, the whole done is better than perfect thing, and letting myself take breaks, letting myself do what my body needs. That's not selfish. It's like I have needs, so it's okay to meet those needs. So what will I do to intentionally live out this focus? To help me shift my self-talk, I am making it my goal to make mistakes. And I know that probably sounds so strange, but anytime that I make a mistake, I'm going to catch that mind gremlin and I am going to celebrate. Because if I'm making mistakes, it means that I'm actually trying, I'm actually doing things, I'm taking action, I'm taking risks, I'm facing my fears, I'm learning, I'm growing, and allowing myself to be a beginner. Because my perfectionist self hates being a beginner at anything because, you know, no one is immediately awesome at anything they've just started. And that's hard for a perfectionist. That's really hard. But it's a part of the process, so I need to be comfortable with that being a part of the process. I've even made a list in my planner so I can record every single mistake I make this year and celebrate each and every one. I also will be recording more vlogs this year to document my journey of making mistakes and learning new skills. This is something that I used to fear because, you know, I only want to show people the end product once I've mastered something, and especially in this personal development realm, I wanted to be a good example so people would respect me and hire me as a coach. But I realized that sharing my personal journey proves that I'm actually working on this stuff too. You know, that I'm not just like, you know, that I'm practicing what I preach, that I'm not just telling you these things, but actually putting it into practice in my own life. And seeing other people's journeys, you know, that in between, their process, you know, not just the after, but all the messy mistakes, sometimes especially the mistakes, because it helps you see that you're not alone and that, again, this is a part of the process. This is the journey that, because, you know, growth is not linear. There's lots of ups and downs. People aren't just like amazing overnight. It takes time to build and grow. That is real life. So we both need to learn to embrace this part of the process, that messy middle. Speaking of the messy middle, my vlogs will be way less scripted than these kinds of videos, which is really hard for me because I have the memory of a goldfish and I always have to have my script in front of me. Like, I have my laptop right here to help me remember what I need to talk about. So that'll be good practice for me. They'll be less edited. And I also want to use it as a chance to play around more and experiment and have some fun. So we might be getting worse before we get better, so bear with me, hang in there. Subscribe if you haven't yet. This is gonna be a fun journey. However, I will continue my real talk videos, which is ones like these where I'm sitting on my couch. They're more edited and scripted. So these I will focus more on quality over quantity, and because of that, they'll come out less frequently than my vlogs. The vlog series I'm planning on so far includes 1, developing extroverted sensing, or SE. My inferior cognitive function as an INFJ is extroverted sensing, which basically means this vlog series will be about becoming more present, mindful, grounded, as well as developing better body control and adaptability. I already came out with my first episode, which you can use the link above or down below in the description to check that out, and I explain that series more there. Second, improving my art skills. A big goal of mine this year is to get serious about my art practice. I will document my journey, which again is going to be really hard for the perfectionist in me, but I'm going to document that, and including my character creation process for my art commission. So that'll be fun. I will be using ArtQuest and the Hero's Journal to help me on this art journey. Third, takeaways from personal development books. I have outputted and produced a lot this past year, but it's really time to spend more time for input and consuming. So I want to read more books and share some of what I'm learning with you. And then fourth, there might be other things that I'm working on. So to be determined, other skills I'm working on that don't fall under that category. There might be other vlog things. Yay. Real quick, I want to share 4 of the tools that I plan on using this year, so you'll see that throughout my videos, and I will make sure I review each of them later on. But I've got the Adventurer's Toolkit from Life's an RPG, and I've printed out the pages here. It's a digital PDF that you can download, and I have totally fallen in love with this. It turns personal development into an RPG. Again, I'll be documenting using it and reviewing it on my channel. It also comes with access to a community platform, and I will actually be leading a group there in the new year to help people learn more about their personality. Second, I have my first passion planner. Look how pretty this is, the design on it. I am totally in love with it. It even has this little envelope with the heart that's kind of like my logo for my coaching. So this is their weekly undated planner, and again, it's my first time using it, so I'll review that as well. In the past, I've used Bloom daily planners, which you can check out my walkthrough of one of their planners, and then last year I tried out Clever Fox Pro, which you can find on Amazon, and I'll put a link down below for you too, which I really like this one because it came with like, I think it's 50. There's a lot of bullet pages in the back, and so I was able to use that for my content plan and keeping track of my goals, so that was really neat. The Passion Planner also has that. It doesn't have quite as many pages, but I think it has just enough for me, so yeah, we're going to give this one a try this year, and I'll let you know how it goes. Next, also in my binder, I have ArtQuest. It's kind of like Life's an RPG, except that it's very specifically for art improvement. It's basically an RPG story for art improvement with quests that can earn you points. I'm trying it out for the first time this year, and again, like I said, I'll review this as well on my channel. And last but not least, I have the Hero's Journal. This is their brand new royal purple journal that I pre-ordered, and I got this little bundle of, there's different pens and things that came with it, and a fountain pen. My first fountain pen, which is really exciting. But I am planning on using this to track my art journey, my own art quest this year, in tandem with the art quest that I just showed you. I've talked about the Hero's Journal a couple times before on my YouTube channel, so check out the links down below. I have an unboxing of their red first edition Hero's Journal, and then I also did a review of it. Here's a sneak peek of the inside. The Hero's Journal is an epic 90-day undated goal journal that turns your goal into a quest. So it makes you feel like you are in the story of your life, and you are the hero on this quest to achieve your goals. Each year, I choose some sort of visual reminder to help me keep my mind focused on my focus for that year. In the past, I've had engraved bracelets, I've had wall art. Last year, I had a wallpaper for my phone. And this year, I'm going to get a tattoo. And I will be documenting this in one of my vlogs, so make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to. Oh my gosh. If you don't want to miss that experience of me facing this fear of being stabbed a million times and having to make a permanent decision. Oh my gosh, as a perfectionist, like that's one of the main things that kept me from ever wanting to get a tattoo, was because like, what if I choose the wrong thing and now this is gonna be permanently on my body? That is too much pressure. But we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. I figure since this has just been one of my lifelong struggles with perfectionism, and so some sort of representation of this theme that I have, I think will be helpful for me for the rest of my life, let's be honest. So yeah, I'm really excited for this year. Scared for this year, but it's gonna be quite the adventure. So again, subscribe to go with me on this journey. I would love for you to be there and to chat with you along the way. So make sure to comment down below on my videos, and right now comment down below to tell me what your focus is for 2021. I would love to hear it. And until next time, keep it real.